Hey everyone, it's Ashley, and today I'm going to teach you how you can take Infusible Ink and make a customized gift bag. So I think this is perfect for a gift of wine or cider. There's so many ways that you can make this custom and fun. And if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future content. And while you're at it, like the video. It helps the algorithm know that I'm still here. And we're going to get to it, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process. So let's talk about what supplies you'll need for this project. We're going to be using the Cricut beverage bag blanks, and these are awesome because they make it really easy to have gifts ready. You can just create a bunch of these, and then you have pick up a bottle of cider or a bottle of wine, something like that. You can add it to these, and they're really great, handy gifts to have ready. Also, I'm going to be using the Buffalo Check Patterns Infusible Ink, but for this, I'm actually going to use the black on this one. The Buffalo Check I'm saving for another project, so if you love Buffalo Check, check back on the channel and you'll see that project as well here shortly. We're inside Cricut Design Space, and I took you directly to the project that I had made for this. This is the holiday wine bags, and I've already pre-sized these to work inside the Cricut wine bags. So this will be the right size that you need for the wine bags. This will use approximately 1 sheet of the Infusible Ink, so that's just something to keep in mind. If you only want to make one, you can always delete one and choose the one that you like, or there's a ton of cute options inside Design Space too. But I really loved how classic these look, so I thought I would show you that. And once you select Make It, it will bring you to the screen so that you can work on cutting it. We're going to select Mirror, so over on the left side is an option to mirror. And mirroring just turns this backwards so that it can cut it correctly. Anytime you're working with iron-on vinyl or Infusible Ink, you want to make sure that you mirror. We'll select Continue. Next, you'll select your material. So we're going to choose Browse All Materials, and we'll type in Infusible. Select Infusible Ink Transfer Sheet, and click Done. It asks you to make sure that the mirror is turned on and that the material is inked side up. So now we're ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm unrolling this. It comes in a special protective sheet, so that way it's not exposed to light. So we'll unroll this, and as you can tell, this is definitely not as vibrant as the box, and the reason for this is once you're working with heat, the heat is what activates it to have this vibrant color. So let's remove this sheet. We're going to be using this sheet specifically. It also comes with layers of butcher paper that you can use for your project, as well as a little swatch that you can use to test if you want to see the results on it. Whenever you're working with Infusible Ink, make sure your hands are clean and dry. That way you get the best results, especially when you're working with something like a solid color. You don't want anything to disrupt the look of it. We'll make sure that this is adhered to the mat. So we have our side here where it has all the grid, and then we have the color. So let's go ahead and put the side with the grid down on the sheet. If you have a brayer tool, this is the perfect time to use it. That way you can smooth down your project without touching it with your hands. Let's open up our machine. And we have the fine point blade installed. We'll load this in. And we'll press the Cricut symbol to start. Now we can unload the project, and we'll turn this over and unroll it from our mat. For this project, since there are 2 separate pieces, we're going to cut the different pieces separately. We'll cut away for our design. And any excess you can always save for another project. So I'm just going to go through and cut around our design here. That way I can use this for another project. Let's talk about weeding your design. Whenever you're using something like Infusible Ink, because this is a kind of a thicker material, this is almost a paper-like material, you'll have the best results if you kind of roll your design a little bit, and it helps to remove it from the background. So that's something that you can do, as well as bring your little weeding tool if you need to get behind your design. That's also an option. But often you can get away with using your hands as long as you're rolling the design to make sure that it removes from the background a little bit. So you'll find that there's a clear protective sheet. This sheet also is sticky, and then this kind of thicker paper-like material. If you have any problems removing it, you can always stop and then roll your design a little bit just to make sure it removes more cleanly. And if you're working with a project and you have a ton of pieces still sitting there, you can always cut them or remove them to make it easier on yourself. So I'm going to remove that piece and take that out of the way. So that way I can focus on the section I'm working on. And just remember, you can always kind of roll a little bit. And if you're finding a piece of backing is stuck on there, use your weeding tool and you can go right underneath it to help lift it. Just make sure to try avoid touching the areas where you're going to be using your design. This area is going to get weeded out, so it's okay for you to touch that. But try not to put your hands over the design itself. And there we go, holiday cheer. Now we're ready to apply, so let's check out the Cricut heat guide. How do you know if you're going to have the right result? So this is where I always recommend using the Cricut heat guide. You go to cricut.com/heat guide. There's a link in the description box below that'll take you straight to this. And what you can do is input all the information for your project, and that way you know the exact timing and the exact temperature to get the right results. So we're going to be using the Cricut EasyPress 2. We're using the Infusible Ink transfer sheet, and we're using a wine bag. And when you click apply, it shows you all of the information that you need. So you're going to be preheating your project for 15 seconds. Then you'll apply your decal, and you'll put this on for 385 degrees for 60 seconds with light pressure and a warm peel. It also has a handy diagram that shows you exactly how to stack everything. So you have your EasyPress mat, your wine bag with 4 layers of butcher paper or 1 layer of heavy-duty cardstock inside, your decal. Then you'll also have a layer of parchment or butcher paper and your EasyPress. I'll walk you through that visually so you can take a look at this. It also tells you all the information that you need to know as far as supplies, preparation, application, and care. So always make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area as well. I'm going to walk you through and so you can see exactly how this is done. Make sure to take your decal, and we're going to add the heat protectant tape. There's a special tape that Cricut makes that allows you to use tape to keep your design in place. So I'm going to add this tape all the way around just to make sure we get the best results on our project. With your wine bag blank, because they're folded over, you'll want to make sure that you pre-press this and get this as flat as possible. Also, running a lint roller over your project is always a good idea. I'm going to pre-press this just to make sure that this is nice and flat before we do anything. Let's make sure that we allow this to cool completely before we start working on our project. That way the heat on this won't interfere with the setting instructions. So we have our project. It's on the mat with 2 layers of butcher paper that are doubled up. So you want 4 layers of butcher paper or a heavier cardstock inside in a cream color or a white color, something that wouldn't transfer underneath. So we have this. We're going to preheat this for 15 seconds. We're using light pressure. Okay. And we have our decal that we pre-taped. So we're going to place our decal on here. I may move this just temporarily. This side is cool, so I can move this. I'm going to just figure out exactly where I want this. So I'm going to use the tape. Watch out because it is hot. This is a good time to break out your butcher paper if you want to press down the decal. Just something to protect your hands. Okay, that should be in a good position. I'm going to flip this back. And now we'll reset the timer to 60 seconds. We reset the timer to 60 seconds. We'll apply a sheet of butcher paper to the top. We'll apply our machine to the top. Let's get that as even on there, and then press the button. We're going to apply light pressure because we want to make sure that this is nice and flat and even. So don't apply too much pressure, but just a little bit, just to make sure that there's contact between everything here. We'll remove that. Let's remove the butcher paper. Be careful, it's all hot. And let's allow this to sit. We're not going to touch it. Let it sit and do its thing. It needs to cool down until it becomes a warm peel. So a warm peel is different than a hot peel. A warm peel is once it's cooled down to a lukewarm type of temperature. Right now it would be very hot, so we don't want to touch it. Our project has had some time to cool down, so we're going to lift from a corner. Still a warm peel. And remove it, and there we go. Now we have our completed project. So what do you think about the completed project? I'm really happy with how they turn out. I think it's really neat, especially because you see how expensive customized items are right now. They really can cost a fortune, and instead of having to spend a fortune on each individual item, you can make a ton of them yourself and give away really beautiful customized gifts. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future content. I'm doing 25 days of DIYs for December, and I don't want you to miss out because there's so much we're going to explore. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.